looks like it's alphabetical order, so you have to change that. No, okay, and then go to media source. What's going on, everybody? Hey, Scott, welcome.
Right
Media, there you go.
Got you.
And then get ready to go to.
No jingle or none of that.
No, we get it.
Yeah, I got to get that together. That's my fault. Well, guys, now it's time.
Yes, we are here. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Change Your Mind, Change Your Thinking, CMCT. I am your host, Troy Skinner. Sitting next to me on my right-hand side, the man with the plan.
I'm adjusting my microphone.
So he can speak well.
Nah, Antonio Dean. What's up, everybody?
What's going on, Prince? How you doing? What's up, sir? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How y'all doing, man? What's going on out there in the world? We got a great topic that we are discussing tonight. Thank you for joining us on Tuesday's episode of Change Your Mind, Change Your Thinking. If you already saw the ad, then what we were talking about, we'll be discussing tonight is dealing with grudges,
Cutting your family off, getting rid of them niggas. Don't give them nothing. Don't let them ask for nothing. Don't let them come over. No turkey, no stuffing. Nah, they can come over.
I guess if they got forgiveness and they can let go of whatever it is that they got going on with that grudge or whatever.
Yeah, but you don't have to share none of your good snacks with them.
Yeah, that's true. Keep
Keep
all of it in the living room closet or in the bedroom closet.
That's what I do.
Yes, guys. So thank you for joining in with us. I know a lot of you guys are out there doing your Thanksgiving shopping. I went to the dollar store. It was packed with black women getting aluminum foil pans.
Nigga, listen. I went to Kroger. I've been to Walmart the last couple days. Nah, last night even.
Mm-hmm.
I was headed home or headed here, and I was like, you know what? No, I went back home to go grab some shit before I came back here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, let me stop at McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just grab some fries.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, some fucking fries. Why is it that the week of Thanksgiving, McDonald's is wrapped out of the fucking parking lot?
Because people don't cook. They just, they don't. Okay, so they don't cook.
It's also every day here too.
Yeah. Well,
You know
I mean, that's just
saying?
the fat nation of the world right now.
I was just upset, nigga, because I wanted them fries hella bad. Whatever fucking day it was, but I wasn't amused.
Do you think they make the best fries? Who's your fry?
If talking about fast food,
fries, period. I mean, I'm a connoisseur when it comes to waffles and pancakes, and I know where I want to go sometimes for those things. But like for fries, French fries, because you are really like.
I like a good snack.
I'm gonna tell you guys, this man is probably one of the most impressive people when it comes to knowing restaurants and different spots to get some good grub, man. If you know anything about me, I'm not really an eating person, but I will eat when it's time to eat.
Right.
And since I've met this man, he's been so impressive in regards to the spots that he knows and the places that he's been taking myself and Eric and different people in his life. So shout out to Antonio for the good spots to eat, restaurants and stuff. So fries,
in no particular order.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A's waffle fries are definitely, it is what it is.
Okay.
They're top tier.
Okay.
I want to give y'all a spot for good sweet potato fries because sweet potato fries are my favorite.
Okay. Did you ever get the ones at Fat Burger in LA?
Yeah.
Or out in Cali?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I remember when they started making those. I was like, okay.
There's one of the spots they'll put lemon pepper on your sweet potato fries.
Interesting.
I have to think about it and remember it, but since I can't remember them, Chick-fil-A, Wendy's for the Baconator fries, and curly fries from Jack in the Box. If you can't go to Jack in the Box, Arby's makes the same curly fries.
Oh, okay. So maybe they're owned like kind of like
they have to be under the same umbrella.
Yeah,
they gotta be because they
like
taste
Carl's
exactly the same.
Juniors and Hardee's, or Carl's Juniors and Crystal. Is it Crystal? Crystal, yeah. Or it must be Hardee's. Carl's Jr.
It's Hardee's and Carl Jr. But I don't know whatever it is with Arby's and Jack in the Box. They gotta be under the same umbrella. The fries taste exactly the fucking same.
Okay.
I'm not sure what it is there, but
okay,
definitely that. So. And then if you can, I would have said Checkers or Rallies, but they're not everywhere. But Checkers and Rallies have some good ass fucking fries.
They're pretty much
they're the same company, yeah. But they got some good ass fries. They're just hard to find.
Well, they actually have them in the frozen food section.
Yeah, you can get them there, but it ain't the same, nigga. You got to get the carton. And, you know what I'm saying? If you can go to Checkers or Rallies, really good fries. If not, my number one, I probably would definitely say Jack in the Box curly fries.
Okay.
That's my number one.
Okay. I used to be a curly fry guy, but now it's just
it's a lot.
Yeah, too much seasoning sometimes, too much salt. Yeah.
I'd like to. Well, then so if you want some regular plain Chick-fil-A again.
Yeah,
their waffle fries are
agree.
Really good.
I agree. And it depends on the location because some of them will already have them salted, and some of them you have to
you can
salt
request
yourself. Oh, really? More the sea salt. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So they're not doing their best to kill us there.
Not completely, no. But Wendy's got good fries too. Don't sleep on Wendy's.
Oh yeah,
they're one of the only restaurants that doesn't freeze all of their fucking food.
Right. Yeah, I used to be a big Wendy's person, man. I think I had helped them to get to be the icons they are.
That was you.
Boy, I was in there every day, man.
Look.
Yeah. So I guess that means this is a prelude to us having a show about food down the road.
Obviously, that must be it.
In the 2023 season.
I love good food, man. I know spots all across the United States, man, because ever since I got out of the military, I fucking drive everywhere.
Right.
I drive anywhere. They say show up. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm hopping in the car. I need to know at least a week in advance, nigga, so I can be ready to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But.
All right, so, tonight, I know a lot of you guys, and this is a topic we decided to talk about this week because of the impending holiday. I know a lot of you are headed to families and to different homes and places where you're going to. I thought that was really funny that I saw you had commented on somebody's page on Facebook about the black kid who and his girlfriend that goes to the white people's house every Thanksgiving. They're making a movie about it.
Oh yeah, Netflix.
Oh,
what did I say? I said, nigga, who are these niggas? 'Cause I forgot, but I did see that before. Their story actually is pretty compelling.
Yeah, 6 years they've been doing it. By accident, this black guy went over to a white person's house for Thanksgiving. They were texting, and then they said, "Well, come on through," and he actually showed up and. They've been having. They showed him love. They showed him love. They've been having Thanksgiving dinner for the last 6 years, and now they're going to turn it into a film. So
I'm sending you the question, so you
thank you so much. Yes. So yes, tonight's topic again. We are talking about what's going on. Oh, how you doing, Marquise? What's going down? What's going on, Caleb? Tonight's topic we are talking about forgiving and grudges and letting go. Not particularly in that order. But that is what we are talking about tonight. And we thought it would be a great subject to go over to help some of you guys out there who may be dealing with this. And you have to be around family and or someone who you have maybe a grudge against, or you don't want to forgive them, or you want to be forgiven, or you have a hard time letting go. I can speak personally from this because in my years of being in Los Angeles, which to me is the me capital of the world, you bump into people where you give a lot of energy and time and life force to others to help them to grow and or help them to get along. A lot of people when they move to LA, they move pretty much with just the money in their pocket, and they sleep in their car, and they live on people's couches and sleep on people's couches. And
the bus stop,
all that good stuff. Doing whatever they can to make it. Some people taking a shower in the gym and going from one job to another. And you have people who look out for them, and all of a sudden, when they get to that point of success, they've forgotten about you. And that causes a lot of bitterness, and it holds contempt in your heart. So I have several people in my life that I'm still dealing with, forgiving and letting go of the grudges and stuff like that. But we're going to make this specific to you guys. If you have something you want to add to the conversation, please chime in. If we're on if you're watching us through Instagram, then you can call in and or you can just type in a question or a comment.
Sure.
And we will address it. But we're on YouTube. Definitely add comments, like, share, and subscribe.
Make sure to do
okay. First off, we'd like to give a shout out to Joan Moulton for her donation to us. It definitely was a blessing, and we encourage people to help us out in any kind of way.
Thank you, Joan.
Yes, thank you so much, Joan. We love you. If you're watching tonight, if not, you watch back the show. We are tremendously grateful for it because it's going to help us keep the lights
keep these
on.
Lights flashing and flickering. Choosing pigments and color.
Every little bit helps, man. So we're very grateful in that. At this time, my partner in crime.
Is it me?
Yeah, going to list off everything in regards to our format and who we are.
Well, that was no kind of segue.
It's the best that I got, man. Come on.
No kind of segue. But it's all right, because as personal as I took that, our viewers might want to get more personal.
Yes.
Because they like us.
Yes.
Or they like looking at us or listening to us talk.
Hello there, Keksa.
Or they like knowing that Eric is in the room.
In energy and
it's probably
spirit.
that. Yeah, whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
So, if you really like knowing that Eric is in the room, there are many ways for you all to let us know. And one of those ways is if you want to find us on Instagram, we are at CMCT_show. On Facebook, you can find us at CMCT Show. We're also live on Facebook at Antonio Dean Smith the 4th, which is IV. It's public, so you don't have to add me as a friend or follow or none of that. It'd be nice if you did, but you don't have to. You can go ahead and find us on there. We're also on YouTube live Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern at CMCT_show. We would love to transition over to YouTube so we can stop doing these lives on Instagram or whatnot. So, you know, if you want to help us out with that, go like, share, comment, and subscribe. Mm-hmm. It'd be really nice. Mm-hmm. Nextly, we have a Twitter. You can go there and Twitch us or whatever the fuck they do on Twitter.
Tweeting.
Twitching.
Twatting, tweeting.
Twiddling, tweaking each other, whatever. At CMCT_show on Twitter. Now, this is where it gets intimate.
Hey.
It gets very intimate.
Oh, yeah.
We have an email address. And if you wanted to hit us up with topics, recipes, silhouettes, you know what I'm saying? whatever it was, some video, art, you feel me? If you wanted to do that, you could email it to us at cmctshow@gmail.com. If the video is more than 15 megabytes, I believe, it'll go straight to our Google Drive, where we will analyze it.
Critique it.
You know what I'm saying? We'll rate it. Eric is going to check it out. So go ahead and email us again. That is at CMCT. I lost it. Shit. Where's it at? CMCTshow@gmail.com.
Yes.
We also have a TikTok. We have one. We have a TikTok, and that's the most I can say. And that's at CMCT_show. Most importantly, though, and on a very serious note, if you go to linktree.com or Google Linktree, and along with Linktree, you type in CMCT show, our Linktree page will pop up, and there you will find 3 of our services that we're offering. You can get a 2-minute video, personalized to your liking. Please do not request nudity, as that will cost much more than $20. You know what I'm saying? Much more than $20. But 2-minute video, just personalized, anything you want us to talk about or address, or even just to motivate you, whatever it is that you'd like to be in that video or want us to talk about. We're knowledgeable on a myriad of topics. Just let us know. It's $20 for 2 minutes. Personal video, just like on Cameo. Nextly, right now, during the holidays, we're running a special. If you want to call us and cry,
grieve
on a telephonic shoulder, you know what I'm saying? If you want, not advice, if you want to call for some
thoughts, some talking,
guidance that's not mandatory.
Yeah.
Guidance? Can we say that? Legally?
Perspective.
We're offering you perspective.
Yes.
And it's not professional. It's none of that.
No.
None of it is by force, all by choice.
Just wisdom.
Hit us up. $59 an hour to talk things out. And if we can offer you something that's valuable to you and will help you get through it and figure it out, please. $59 an hour up until December 31st. And then after December 31st, it'll go back to $100 an hour. Lastly, we're also offering interviews. So if you have a brand, you got merchandise, you do music or art of some sort, if you're offering services, whatever it is, 20-minute interview, pre-recorded. Mm-hmm. We'll edit your video to your liking. If you want sound effects, if you want whatever the hell it is, you want to have a virtual hat or some silly shit, we can do all of that. It'll be 20 minutes for $75. So go ahead and contact us for that. You'll find that again on the Linktree page at CMCT_show. And then also on that Linktree page, we have all of our payment options. If you wanted to donate to us, there's a tipping mechanism on there as well. So if you want to help us keep these lights flashing, this room dark enough for these lights to flash. It's hot up in this motherfucker. So you want to, donate to help us just keep things running and continue to grow so that we can bring you guys quality content. All of that is available on linktree.com at CMCT_show. Now, and Eric,
swiping right.
You can access Eric directly through our Linktree page for a nominal fee.
Yes, you can.
You know what I'm saying? But
your history is showing.
Well,
hey,
so
we got people already hitting us up with questions. They come.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So
good.
Thank you.
We're gonna get right to that last thing.
Yeah, Marquise, we're gonna get to your question in a second.
So lastly, and I'll speed through this. My brother has an Instagram, and that is at Darkon2000, DARKAN, the number 2000 on Instagram. Please go ahead, follow him, like some of our shows, help us get the insights up.
Get them numbers
Improve
up.
that for us.
Numbers
Twitter. My brother has a Twitter at DarkonENT, DARKANENT. Go ahead and add him or touch him on Twitter, whatever they, you know what I'm saying, tickle him or whatever the fuck goes on Twitter. Help him out. And then I also have an Instagram, and that is at _dosage, DOSAGE. I have an Instagram for music as well. I just dropped a project that is a re-release of old songs leading up to my new project, which will be dropped on Christmas Eve this year.
Awesome.
That is at the dosage _MA. The dosage _MA. Go ahead and find my music. It's on all streaming platforms at the dosage.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah. Look, y'all got to give that man a round of applause. He does it every week, two times out the week. He does it. We will not be airing on Thursday, but we will be doing a show tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
We're doing a quick show tomorrow. And by the end of the show, we'll have our times that we're going to be doing it. 2
hour time.
2
Eastern.
2 o'clock Eastern. And then that would be 11 Pacific Standing Time.
Yeah.
So Pacific Standard. Hey, Joan, we just gave you a shout out. You missed it, but that's fine. You're in. What's going on, Krishan? So I think we'll start this a little different because we're going to go into our definition.
Oh, definition?
Yeah,
sure.
We're going to go into our definition, but we're going to segue the definition right into your question, Marquise. Marquise says, how does one or should one ever forgive the unforgivable? Okay. Well, we have to make sure that we differentiate between what is a grudge, what is unforgivable, and what is something that you should let go. So we're going to get the definition of a grudge first.
We're having a goofy ass.
Is it a Google issue?
The cursor is invisible currently.
Oh, that's not good.
And I don't know why. God damn it.
Is the mouse dying?
No. Yeah. The mouse is fine, but the cursor is invisible. Because I'm black. That's usually why shit like this happens. It's always something strange for the show, but you know what? Let's get it in a roundabout way.
Do we need to pull it out?
Maybe. Yeah. Fuck it. Why not? The mouse cursor has disappeared. It's gone rogue.
Yeah.
Whatever, I guess.
It's been one of those nights, bro.
This is definitely just one of those nights. Yeah. Very strange shit is happening.
First with the Rodecaster and now with the...
There it goes. Okay. It reappeared.
All right.
So that was OBS's fault.
But that's the mouse from...
Yeah, no, it popped back up.
Okay, cool. Okay.
It's OBS's fault.
All right.
Tried to front on me in front of my friends, you know. But it's all good. So... Welcome on Facebook.
Welcome, everybody.
Can't see the face, but so thanks for tuning in.
Grudge. A grudge is a persistent feeling of ill will or resentment resulting from a past insult or injury. So, the verb of it is to be resentfully unwilling to give, grant, or allow something. So that something usually is
begrudging. Right?
Yeah, to be begrudging. Okay.
Let's see Wikipedia really quick. Oh, nope, that's a movie.
It's a pretty
Grudge
decent
and Wiktionary.
Yeah.
There we are.
Yeah.
Da-da-da. Of course, they don't want to go directly to it. They categorize it as resentment, but we're not gonna go down that.
Ranklement.
Let's go to their Wiktionary. I did. A variant of grudge. Mid-15th century, younger than begrudge, from Middle English, grutchen, to murmur, complain, feel envy, begrudge, from Old French, grouchier, to murmur, grumble, of Germanic origin, akin to Middle, High German, I ain't even gonna try that one.
Grunzman?
Grudgesin?
Oh, Grunzen.
Sure.
Yeah, grunzen.
To howl or wail. To croak. Blah, blah, blah. Do we have an actual definition? Grudge. Deep-seated and or long-term animosity or ill will about something or someone, especially due to a past misdeed or mistreatment. To have, hold, or bear a grudge against someone.
Right. So, the grudge would be the thing to make you lack forgiveness. Correct. Or it would be the thing to hold on to. If you have a grudge, you're holding on to a grudge. So that way you can have a certain thought and a certain perspective about that person.
Right. So this is apparently an obsolete definition of it. But it says to hold or harbor with malicious disposition or purpose, to cherish enviously.
Right. To cherish that feeling, man.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Are we going to just start with grudge, or you want to go over all of them?
Well, the question is very valid because, rather than us spending 20 minutes on the end of how do you deal with it, let's start with that now. How does one or should one ever forgive the unforgivable? Well, first off, we have to decide whether it's unforgivable, what that action is. Because let's get to forgive, because something that is unforgivable can be different for each individual. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Right. So if it's unforgivable to you, you have to analyze it to see if it's something that's actually unforgivable. And each individual is something different. So,
because I have a perspective on something being unforgivable, and we'll get to that.
Okay.
So I guess let's start with forgiveness. Forgiveness. The action or process of forgiving or being forgiven. Can we go deeper than that, please? It's going to play with me, of course. Yeah, Wikipedia. Good. Let's go deeper. Forgiveness, in a psychological sense, is the intentional and voluntary process by which one may intentionally feel victimized or wronged, goes through a change in feelings and attitude regarding a given offender, and overcomes the impact of the offense, including negative emotions such as resentment and a desire for vengeance, however justified it might be. Theorists differ, However, in the extent to which they believe forgiveness also implies replacing the negative emotions with positive attitudes, i.e. an increased ability to tolerate the offender, in certain legal contexts, forgiveness is a term for absolving or giving up all claims on account of debt, loan, obligation, or other claims.
On the psychological level.
Okay. On the psychological level, forgiveness is different from simply condoning, viewing an action as harmful yet to be forgiven or overlooked for certain reasons of charity, excusing or pardoning, merely releasing the offender from responsibility for an action, or forgetting, attempting to somehow remove from one's conscious mind the memory of a given offense.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. So, listen, to answer your question, brother, because, I know we're going to get a lot of questions.
Yeah, we can just keep.
How does one or should one ever forgive the unforgivable? First off, like I said, to say that something is unforgivable is subjective. That's pretty much the sum up of that.
I think it's a choice.
It is a choice. And what's going to happen is you're going to have maybe 10% people agree with this and 30% people agree with that. We have to first ask, is it something that is truly unforgivable? Because unforgivable means that there is no other recourse.
Correct.
And
you decide whether or not there is.
Well, yeah, because the personal infraction was to that individual. So everybody is different. But should one ever, it's not a thing that you should, because no one can tell you what to do.
Right.
Why would one forgive? Now, that's something that I can help you with. And forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for yourself.
Correct.
Because the grudge is something that you hold against the other individual.
Which means it has absolutely nothing to do with them. You not going to sleep at night does not affect them. It doesn't bother them. That's 100% on your heart, not on theirs.
We talked about that in our first show, about being used. Because people that use you tend to, they tend to do things and don't care about what they do because they're using you. And they may not even realize that they use you. But we talked about the different varying degrees of being used. And so what Antonio is saying is that person's not losing any sleep, whether you forgive them or not. Now, there is such a thing as guilt. Some people will feel guilty, and you have to be sensitive enough to read the energy to see if it's something that you can work in order to have some sense of agreement of forgiveness.
There's a certain level of maturity required between both parties for something like guilt to even be addressed.
What's going on, Gino? Yeah, listen, and I can speak for myself personally because I went on a journey in regards to having to forgive because of all of the abuse that I suffered as a child. There's 3 levels of forgiveness. First off, you have to forgive God, you have to forgive yourself, and then you have to forgive those who are a party at it. And those who are a party at it can not only just be the person that caused the infraction towards you, but also a family member that may have known, or people who allowed it to happen and didn't do anything to prevent it.
So all parties who were complicit.
Yes. Now, when I say that, and this is, it's important to understand what I'm saying when I say you have to forgive God, because a lot of people hold grudges against God. Those who do believe in God or maybe stop believing in God because of what happened will hold a grudge against God. And so when you say forgive God, which is such a grandiose statement, like who the hell are you to forgive God? Well, that's what we just read about resentment. Resentment is a form of holding a grudge.
Right.
And a grudge is something that if you can't forgive, it's going to linger.
On you, though.
Absolutely.
On no one else.
Right, because God don't give a damn if you forgive him or not. He don't. He's going to keep doing what he's doing.
I think it's okay for you to forgive, but you don't have to forget.
Thank you.
When I say not forget, let's not get it confused.
Mm-hmm.
Not forgetting is understanding that I don't have to go there with you again.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to allow you in close enough to do XYZ again. You always have the choice and the option to deal with anyone in any capacity that you choose.
Mm-hmm. That's the power of being an adult.
Correct.
And you talked about that in the previous show about right? Your mature you, the part of you. There was a phrase that you used. It was right on point when we were talking about dealing with family.
When you
you
have an adult relationship with
yes,
with your family members.
Yes, and so that's where it starts. If you're headed to like Thanksgiving dinner and there's a family member there, or a distant relative or friend of the family that you can't stand, maybe you hold a grudge against them. Maybe it happened last year and it wasn't dealt with. Maybe it happened a couple of weeks ago and now you're about to be there.
Yeah.
You're not only making it bad for yourself, because you may think, I'm not talking to this person, I'm not dealing with them.
You don't even have the opportunity to have a good time when you go.
Yeah, because you're already knowing all the way there that it's going to be a problem.
Correct.
So I want to talk more about that adult you, the adult relationship, and being strong enough to say, you know what, maybe I don't need to go. Why do people feel obligated to be in a space or a specific situation or location and put themselves through the pain that comes with that, the drama and the trauma? You have somebody over there that has something.
I'm just reading. We'll get to it.
Yeah. So okay, to round about your question.
So he's asking, how do you deal with, or how do you forgive the unforgivable?
Right.
That's on you. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with the other person. Now the process to go about that, again, I mean, this is always going to come back to self-work. Mm-hmm. If that person, if you and that person have already severed ties, in whatever way that may be, maybe y'all might still have each other's phone number and y'all just ain't texting each other or not calling each other, whatever it is, you have to decide how it is that you're going to create that compromise with yourself. Mm-hmm. You have to approach the reality of it. What is the reality of it? If that person's not feeling guilty, they're already 100% out of the equation.
Right.
Now you're totally left with yourself.
Right.
What will you do to bring peace to you? Mm-hmm. Forgive. Mm-hmm. That moment, they're not constantly doing that to you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's your choice how you continue to relive that.
Yeah, especially if you're putting yourself in the situation or in the environment that person is in. Yeah. It's different if it's like work related, because it's your job and it's not easy just to say, well, I'm just going to go ahead and quit, not be around this person. But then there's
you can keep them here.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of other things that would be in effect, like HR and all that stuff. But we're keeping it very menial.
Interpersonal relationships.
Yeah, we're talking about stuff where,
you can love from a distance, man. You can interact from a distance. If it's people that that say like a parent, if somebody that just you can't find it on your heart to completely cut them out of your life, deal with them in the way that you want to deal with them.
Yeah. And why do you think that is? Why do you think some people, because sometimes the answer is distance and not being around an individual. I mean, and to me, but I'm a little stronger. My relationship with my brother is not good at all. And I told him, like, it's just best for us not to see each other. And, I wish you well. But that was on me to do that, and at the end of the conversation, he was like, yeah, whatever. And I was strong enough to the point where that didn't even bother me, because I was just like, I've made peace with me. But I realized that I needed to vocalize that.
I mean, so that leads to what I was going to say, which is just simply your decision to say, I don't need this interaction anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't need this energy to be a part of my life. A lot of us are very dependent on the people that we know, for as long as they're alive, in some capacity. I'm connected with this person. Mm-hmm. A brother, sister, mother, father. It usually is family that we really can't sever ties from. Mm-hmm. For that's like whatever that human connection is that we just can't let go of. It still comes down to it being our choice. Mm-hmm. Can you decide that you truly mean that you're not dependent on that energy anymore for you to have a good day?
Right.
For you to have a sound mind?
Right.
You have to make your mind up about that, and you have to mean it.
Yeah, because you're not going to be able to change anyone. No one has that power. You can't change anyone. You can influence by your growth. I know that with who I've become, you have to fight to be the best you, to present yourself, like he said, with the adult relationship, because people still remember you as this young person, you know, especially family. Oh, I remember you snot.
They know you as one way.
That's it. And you have to present yourself in the way that you need to be seen, because, you know, you see it a lot at funerals, because at funerals, the family shows up. There's a certain age group of family that shows up, and then there's another age group of family that shows up, and you'll see that it fractured off into this cousin dealt with this person all the time, this uncle, but maybe this uncle and this cousin and this auntie didn't. And they just remember memories of when they were teenagers or kids, and that person moved on and moved out into the world, and they all claim as a family connection, but they don't see that this person has moved into...
This nigga lived in Africa for 10 years.
Absolutely. And then you see that side of their life come in, right? And they got a different side of their life.
Completely different perspective on who this person was as an adult.
Yeah. And so I think that's where it goes to. It's like you have to, first off, be strong enough to say, okay, it's not so much confrontation. It's just about relieving yourself, because that's what I realized. A lot of it was phone calls that I had to make. You did this, and you said this, and you did this, but the inner work was done first before I got to that, and just learning who I was as a person and how strong I am. And I'm like, okay, I'm strong now. So, you know, I don't know how this other person is going to respond. And sometimes you yourself, you know, you don't realize that people are holding grudges against you. You have no idea. And because people don't really tell anybody anything. They don't tell each other stuff, you know.
I'm not letting this go. That's not a conversation that people really have.
Yeah.
Not honestly, at least.
Well, because first off, they don't, like he said, you know, it's unforgivable. Well, what to each individual? For me, the only thing unforgivable is messing with kids and animals. You know, is murder forgivable?
I think so.
It is to me. I mean, you know, but it's just about a level of understanding. But kids and animals are innocent creatures. They don't have.
Yeah. Anytime you tamper with someone else's innocence,
yeah,
you know, that's a problem.
So when you say unforgivable, is it a thing of maybe they stole money and set you back on your credit for like 5 or 6 years? For some people, that's unforgivable. For some people, when it comes to money, that's unforgivable. Everybody's different. The question is the relationship important enough, in my opinion, for it to be in that specific place? I think that's what it boils down for each individual, because everybody's opinion of forgiveness is different.
Right.
Like I said, I have more of a biblical understanding of forgiveness. Forgive because forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you.
How much weight are you carrying around,
man,
emotionally and socially?
Man.
Do you have to keep that with you?
Yeah.
Is your entire life, your livelihood, your survival, is it based upon that? Not letting that go? Having that with you for the rest of your life?
Right.
And everybody that you interact with from now on,
you salty.
They might trigger whatever that emotion is, whatever that feeling is, of you not, you know, not being able to move past that.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, shit, that's a long one.
Let's go for it. Let's see.
So let's see. Says Jessica Smith says, I feel like there are some people who have hurt me really bad, but my heart and really knowing the person has wanted a true understanding, really to make amends, but it's so hard. What do you do when you're missing someone, but you're holding on to the anger? How do you let it go?
I think you're coming off of what we had just said. Is that relationship?
Is it important enough?
Is it important enough? Is it worth it? Is in the end result you're going to get out of it what you feel you think you need? Because sometimes we think
that was kind of what I was saying earlier. You know, do you need that person's energy for your life to be peaceful, or for your life to mean something moving forward? Is that something that you can or cannot live without? I can't really answer that question for you, but those are the questions that you should be asking yourself so that you can properly assess it.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe not even properly assess it, but to fairly assess it.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be fair to yourself before you're fair to anyone or anything else, you know, so you want to find the balance there for you. Do you need that person? Are you willing to let them back in and give them? You want to give them an inch because you know a motherfucker take a mile on you in a minute. You know?
Especially if they haven't changed, because that change is something that is relative in all relationships. Like a lot of people think, well, they've changed because they said that they changed. That don't mean they changed.
Yeah. And guess what? It's okay that they haven't changed too. Mm-hmm. Are you okay with them having not changed?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Do you have something set in place for you to properly navigate or not deal with, but receive all of who it is that they are? Because this is why I say it's a choice, because, again, now I get to decide, you know what? I know this motherfucker still. So when,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So when they come over, nigga, no, you can't go in the kitchen. I already brought. There's no reason for you to go in the kitchen. I already brought the food out here.
Yeah, you set the parameters. You set the parameters.
You 100% dictate that environment. You dictate that interaction, that relationship. If you feel that you've done everything that you can to safeguard it as best as it can be, if you're already, and I was talking about this earlier with someone, but expect people to do exactly what they're going to do.
Right.
That doesn't mean that you're psychic.
No.
It don't mean that, you can predict their every move and all of that, but you're expecting them to be who they are and what they are, and that's okay. The situation took a huge impact on their life. Should you give them a chance? Why not? Again, that's your choice. Do you want to allow them that opportunity again? If you know that they might steal your shoes, nigga, make sure you wearing all wearing your shoes, and all your shoes is all the shoes that you want to keep is put up in your closet, whatever it is, but you have to you decide whether or not you're willing to take on the negative or the qualities that you consider to be negative about that person.
And be observant enough to know that maybe there's someone else in your life that can give you that relationship you're looking for.
If not yourself, because this is what I wanted to get to concerning all of that. Is there anyone in your life that you need so bad that you can't maintain peace within?
Mm-hmm. Compromising your own.
Because it has to start with you.
Your own necessary peace.
Your peace should 100% start with you. No one else can give you peace. No one else can give you happiness.
Now, if it's a person you literally have to be around because maybe you live in a house with them, or then maybe find other ways of dealing with your life from outside that house.
Yeah.
We all have to work towards something. Joan Moulton said, holding on to grudges and resentment is a very heavy burden on my heart. I've learned that my heart had a great capacity for forgiveness, but I have to let my anger run its course first. And of course, depending on the infraction against me, the anger running the course might be a marathon. Yeah, that's true. I think with that wisdom comes understanding. It has to. If you understand yourself, then you're wise enough to make the steps necessary. No one can tell you when it's time to forgive. If you got people telling you, well, forgive and forget. That phrase, and I always say this to people in the biblical sense, is not biblical. Forgive and forget, because even God said, I remember the sins against you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that somebody secular made that up. Somebody that wanted to be forgiven made that up. You don't forgive and forget. If you forgive, you can remember, but you don't hold it against that person. You don't say, it's like guys getting in arguments with their girl. She was like, remember what you did? Remember what you did? It's like, well, I thought we was past that. No. And what happens is that you open up old wounds, because most people, I always say that wounds are like, how you have a scab. You got to sometimes peel that
off.
Yeah, yeah, and if it comes off, you got to put something on it to get rid of all that pus. And that's what happens to people. So, yeah, Joan, some people hold on to grudges, resentment, and stuff like that, and lack of forgiveness for a sense of power. What do you think about that?
To have control over someone. So that's their way of, number one, more than likely, that's vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be able to get back at that person and make them feel what they felt, And that's the only way they can think to do it, is to keep that person guilty, which I believe that's unfair.
Yeah. Yeah, it's counterintuitive to a lot of those songs out there that people be singing, like, you know,
you're not getting anything out of that. Mm-hmm. Truly, you're not. Mm-hmm. And it puts you on the same level as them. For whatever it is that you felt that they did, that's putting them on the same level. Unless they, you know, violated you physically or sexually. Mm-hmm. You know, if you can't kill them, then you need to go call authorities and actually have something, you know, take whatever legal routes that you can to have something done to them.
Some justice. Mm-hmm. Guys, listen. When you're dealing with holding on to grudges and resentment, what a lot of people don't realize is that stuff is very detrimental to your health as well. It's very stress-inducing. It also can be cancerous causing. Yep. A lot of times people don't realize
too much stress has many adverse effects on your overall health.
Absolutely.
Your general health.
Absolutely. The blood pressure affects all the mm-hmm. organs, and you don't realize that because you know the stress. What do you think people need to do around holiday time? You know, okay, or you know, I don't really get caught up in the holidays. I'm not a big family person. I mean, I do. If my auntie's listening tonight, thanks for listening in. But I don't really get caught up in the whole, you know, and we know that mostly women love the holidays. They, you know, it's supposed to be a cheery time, a good time. How do we give them, you know, any type of
Well, I'll tell you this. I left home early, mm-hmm. and one of the first things that I looked at, I said, "Oh, this ain't worth this ain't worth my money, my resources, none of that." Mm-hmm. One of the first things I looked at was holidays. Mm-hmm. They're fucking expensive. Mm-hmm. I have to travel. Mm-hmm. Ain't nobody coming to see me. Ain't mm-hmm. nobody coming to my house. Ain't nobody buying all the food. Ain't nobody coming and helping cook the food. Ain't nobody coming to help wrap gifts or pay for gifts or none of that. All of that is me. Ain't nobody helping pay my bills afterwards. Mm. Is that a selfish way to look at it? That's up to you.
I consider it wise.
Is it worth it every single year to continue to do that? And a majority of the burden is on you. If that's the place that you want to take, you don't get to complain about it. Mm-hmm. You do not get to complain about it. However, if you are looking for a solution, some way to counteract that, balance it, start a fund leading up to the holidays. Mm-hmm. Hey, y'all, you know what I'm saying? You want to donate? You know, if y'all want me to be the host and bring all of this shit together, I need everybody in the family to send me $25. Mm-hmm. Everybody in the family to send me $50. Mm-hmm. Something. Mm-hmm. You know. To me, it was never worth it. I live in San Antonio, Texas. I'm supposed to fly home for Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Why?
I'm supposed to take leave, and you know, I got to get a rental car. Mm-hmm. I got to get a hotel room if I don't want to stay with one of my family members because mm-hmm. it might inconvenience me or it might inconvenience them. Mm-hmm. It may make me unhappy. Mm-hmm. I might not be at peace throughout this entire holiday excursion.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of work.
There's so many different variables that go into that made me say, it made me ask the question, is this holiday mandatory?
Right. Who said it?
Am I still enjoying my time at home on the couch, mm-hmm. playing video games or drinking or
more time,
you know,
off, actually,
enjoying the computer? You know what I'm saying? Right, whatever it is.
Right.
What is it that says that I have to stop doing that to go have a good time?
Well, see, and that's the problem because the world tells you that there's something wrong with you if you're not caught up in the festive holidays or if you're not caught up in the quote-unquote joy that these times are supposed to. Right, but if you're dealing with people who are incorrigible and unruly and you just don't get along, right? Because some people realize that after a while. We don't gel.
Because everybody's obligated. It's the same thing as going to work. Mm-hmm. We have to be here mm-hmm. for whatever the reason is that we have to be here mm-hmm. at work. Mm-hmm. Whether you're there because you need something to do, mm-hmm. if you're there because you got to pay your bills that mm-hmm. way, whatever it is, there are people there that you got to be around that you don't want to fucking deal with. Mm-hmm. And you've decided that you're going to go there and be there mm-hmm. for whatever that reason is. It's the same thing when you show up with family, man. you don't have to deal with them just because they're family.
Right. Absolutely.
You don't have to interact with them just because they're family. Write niggas cards and send it to them.
Right.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Wishing you well.
This cost me $25 versus $1,000 or so, or hundreds of dollars to travel and, you know, figure all of this out. You don't have to do that. I realized that at a very young age. Hey, y'all, thanks. You know what I'm saying? Happy holidays. I don't celebrate, though.
But this is what I've learned. When people want to be around people, they're around people.
Yeah, sure.
And not letting the holiday force you into feel or be a certain way is very important. Mm-hmm. That's what we always talk about, the self-analyzation and the accountability, because I know me, because I never have enough time to finish all the things that I want to finish. Holidays are a nightmare for me because it shuts everything down. Yeah. Some of the roles that I booked when I was acting in LA, I booked during the holiday season because everybody else went home early. And so there were many years that I spent in LA where I couldn't come home to visit family on the holidays.
When I was in the military, I liked working during the holidays because everybody else went home.
There you go.
And I sit there and watch Forensic Files and do my computer nigga shit that I was doing. It's peaceful. Yeah. 100%. I didn't mind being a nigga. The air conditioning was free. You know what I'm saying? All of that. One of the things that I also want to offer, two things. One, and my cousin Michael, you know, shout out to him. The mother of his children passed years ago, when they were all basically, you know, under 10 years old, and that's when he decided. He said, "Man, nigga, fuck these holidays." Mm-hmm. So one of the things that they do, they celebrate their mother's birthday. Mm-hmm. They celebrate the day that she passed on. They celebrate their grandmother's birthday. They celebrate the day that she passed on, and they celebrate all of their birthdays. That's their holidays, whatever those days are throughout the year, in October and July and shit like that, you know. So I took that same concept for me, and you know, every time I pop up, my dad is a great example. He's like, nigga, every time you come, man, you don't let me know. I couldn't get ready. I was like, man, there wasn't nothing to get ready for.
Right.
And me and him end up, nigga, we might go to the liquor store or we like gas station food together, you know what I'm saying? We go to the gas station and grab hot dogs, catch up. All right, Dad, well, you know what I'm saying? It was a great time, nigga. I'm glad you still, you know, you alive, you doing well, and you healthy, man. I'm off to see the next person that don't know I'm coming, because I don't need y'all to prepare. I don't need y'all to try to. They don't got to be none of that. We don't need to fake. We don't need to spend money, waste money. That's my point. Genuine. That's why I do it that way. Y'all don't need to know that I'm coming. Y'all ain't got to dress the house up and spend extra money, because I'm sure I don't need none of that shit. I just need to know my people is all right. I love y'all. You know, I pop up on my mom the same way. I pop up on Mario will tell you right now. This nigga show up on a Tuesday. We all got work. All right, well, let me know when y'all off work. I'll be back.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that gives me time to say, you know what? Wow, man, I thought about so-and-so when I seen this, and I grabbed it maybe 6 months ago. And now that I'm traveling, I got all of these things if I wanted to give people gifts, because they crossed my mind. So no, now don't nobody owe me nothing. Don't nobody got to rap. Don't nobody got to come up with nothing, rap nothing.
It's a lot of
nothing
stress.
Extra. Just here y'all go. This is because I genuinely thought about y'all, and I found the time outside of whatever it is in my busy life. I'm able to ride around for a week or ride around for 2 weeks. I'm traveling up and down California, Northern California and Southern California, just seeing everybody that I care about. But I made that my thing. I can afford this right now. Not every single year at this time. I got to have the money. Yeah. Well, at least tax time is coming. Nigga, fuck that.
Right. It's a systematic programming that they have fuck everybody under. Again, you know, you don't forgive for just because the other person. Forgiveness is for yourself. Letting go is not the same thing as forgiveness. Okay, so, and going into the second hour, because we're moving tonight.
Damn. Already?
Going into the second hour, we're going to talk about letting go and what that means. Because a lot of times people think that forgiveness and letting go are the same thing. Because both are ramifications of grudges. So if you have a grudge against someone, right, the grudge can be personal or it can be through a third party. You can have a grudge. I've had grudges against someone because of how they treated somebody I care about.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? So there was nothing there for me to forgive as much as it's a thing of I'm holding on to the grudge because I want this person to know that I didn't like how you treated this other person. That happens a lot in relationships when you see guys, they're dating somebody, or girls, they're dating someone, and then they have a problem. So you build a grudge against that person that hurt you, the person you care about. And then when they end up going back to them, you're like, are you stupid? And then you feel dumb because you're like, okay, I took your side. You know what I'm saying? I had that grudge against this person, in
your honor.
In your honor. And you went back to that person. So it's one of those things. That's something where it's a factor of letting go. It's not forgiveness so much.
Knowing that it ain't your business.
It's none of your business.
It ain't your business. It ain't your right. It ain't your responsibility.
And there's different levels of letting go, because a lot of times you have to completely turn and let go, or you let go enough. You know what I mean? Like a lot of parents who are probably listening, a lot of times you guys, your grip is so ironclad.
When it's time to let your kid walk to school by themselves.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All of that kind of shit.
Yeah, you don't want to let go. And you're inclined to be in a part of every aspect of their life. That's different than, forgiveness, where it's about somebody having an infraction against them. Letting go is like, okay, I need to let it go. And that's, to me, a little easier.
It's detachment.
Yeah, it's a little easier. Because in relationships, two people can be together and they find it hard to let go because of the things that person did.
It's what they're used to.
Yes.
It's what they're comfortable with.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. The not wanting to go back into the world and figure that out all over again, and hope that it can potentially get as far as that, whatever that situation that you're leaving, got. Mm-hmm. That's hard.
Yeah, it's very tough. It depends on the person that you are, because some people, how we're raised is a very, very important aspect of how we deal until we get to a point of who we are. I'll say that again. How we're raised is a very, very important aspect of how we deal until we get to who we are. So the way most of us deal when we're around our family is how we were raised to deal with our family. You get out into the world and you get people treat you different, and they got a different level of respect and love for you, because most of those people are not so much family members, they're friends.
They have no preconceived anything about you other than what they're presented with right now here at this moment.
Yeah. They know whether they like you or not. They know whether, the phrase is, I fucks with you. You know what I mean? They know if, it goes back to our show on judgment.
Yeah.
Being a good judge of character. And they basically take you as you are, whereas family is holding things against you. Maybe.
Well, your family has seen you at your most primal level.
Yes.
Your most basic level.
Yeah.
Some of your family done wiped your ass before.
Yeah.
And to them, for them, that's something that they're not letting go of. To see you out in the world as an adult. Mm-hmm. You see where that's going to circle back around to, which is establish that adult relationship with these people.
Yeah.
Guys,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I have a minute and a half left on my time, guys. So just make sure you sign back into live once I switch over. Okay, look ahead.
But you're reestablishing that with these people, man. Mm-hmm. And you want to be able to go there with them and let them know, let them see. It's time for us to go to the next level of social maturity. Mm-hmm. Not even on a family level, not on an interpersonal level. This is how I've developed. Can we take this a step further? Mm-hmm. And if not, now you got a situation where, am I going to continue to interact with you based on your willingness to go past or to go beyond what it is that you're not willing to let go of when it comes to me and who I am, who I've become and developed into. Mm-hmm.
Bringing this back around to you, Marquise. When I forgave, it was such a load off of who I am.
Is that a new question?
No, I'm just going full circle on what he had asked about, because he started the segment. Forgiveness is for you. It's not for the other person. You forgive in order to make yourself feel better, because then you can start the process of healing Then you can start the process of healing. You cannot start the process of healing until you recognize that you need to forgive for your betterment. So that way you can start working beyond the pain. Because what brought you to that place is very painful. And I always recommend that, you have a conversation with self to get prepared to forgive.
And if you can't do that alone, seek professional help.
Absolutely.
Professional intervention is nothing to be ashamed of. If you're on a steady pace of looking for what is it that's going to mitigate this for me, what is it that's going to get me beyond this, and you haven't found the answer within, there's nothing wrong with seeking professional help. There's nothing wrong with seeking some sort of counsel in general, whether that be with friends who have potentially been through the same thing, and you see that they've come out of it. One of the huge mistakes that we make as humans is, if I come from the ghetto and I just made $100,000 and then I go back and consult one of my niggas that's still there, what would you do? I just got my first $100,000. What would you do with it? Don't go and consult people who have not found their way out either. Don't consult them. Go on the journey with them if they're also looking to heal. But if none of you all have figured it out, don't sit there with them and do the same things that have kept you guys in the same place that entire time. So go and seek, outside counsel. Outsource. You want to deal with professional help, whether that be a therapist or a psychologist. There are many different options to help you along your journey, along your path of healing. Because that is what it comes down to, is healing self. Mm-hmm. Not healing relationships with others, not figuring out how is it that I'm going to better interact. It's 100% how can I heal me and find the peace within, find the happiness within. Mm-hmm. So then I can go back out in the world and interact with these people.
Yeah, with an adult relationship.
Yeah.
Because you're an adult now. A lot of our relationships, we're dealing with people still as children. Yeah. Because like I said, how you were raised as a child, you hold on to that. Even if you go to college, you're still coming home for like the summer, or you're spending large
They want to
chunks
put you
of
in the
time.
bedroom with the baseball bat cover and all of that
and
bullshit.
You're still fighting for your independence. You're dealing with large chunks of time around family. I know people from their college life, they go home and they spend 2-3 months with their family. They're going on all the vacations and stuff, and then they go back to school.
To try to be an adult again, and they got to readjust.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a hard adjustment to make.
Yeah, it's tremendously hard. And so with that being said, when we talk about forgiveness for you guys who are out there struggling, maybe maybe you're about to get in the car, or you're about to get on a plane, and you already know that Uncle Chester gonna be there. You can't stand him.
You hate his bitch, you hate his kids.
Have you done the work on yourself personally to say, because this is what I'm saying.
It's easy to put the blame on others,
but a lot of times people don't even know what the problem is. It's just like I can say this without mentioning names, but there's a professional right now out in Los Angeles that has a problem against me, right? Been blocking me from doing things. And man. And it's like, what is the problem? And I got wise counsel from people who be like, you know what, just keep doing the work. You don't have to go to this person and talk to them about it. Just keep doing the work. And it bothered me for a while. It did, because a lot of times you don't know if someone has a problem with you. Sometimes you don't even know that they have a problem with you.
Correct.
And you don't even know what the issue is. So in that situation, it's work. So it's like, okay, I don't have to deal with this person. But with family, sometimes you need to let people know, listen, I have an issue, and this is the issue, because they may not know. Especially if you're holding on to a grudge of a long period of time. When you slapped me in front of my girlfriend all those years ago, I ain't never forgot that, but never said anything to that person for whatever reason.
Maybe they're apologetic and you don't know.
Right, and that's important. So we have to speak on that end of the fence as well. We can't just say, oh, I got a grudge and I me. No, sometimes it could be a lack of communication that causes that. And that communication,
which is just you. If you haven't had the conversation, you haven't approached that person. Sometimes we do say, well, they should know, you know.
Right. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a great one. Yeah.
They should know that I didn't like that shit. Well, even if they did know that you didn't like it, you know, maybe the after effects far exceeded. You know, it just completely evaded them. Mm-hmm. You know, you never said anything, they never said anything, and now we're adults. Whatever it is that we've gone on to do in our lives, you know, you're still thinking about it. And this goes right with, again, just because you're not sleeping don't mean they're not. Mm-hmm. They don't know what the fuck you're thinking. They don't know what you're feeling. They don't know that this is with you 10 years later, 5 years. You know, you got to be willing to go and have those tough conversations with these people. Whoever it is that you're dealing with.
And just know, too, that even if you do, they may not admit to it. Yeah. So, like I said, forgiveness is for you. It's not for the other person. Because the thing is even if they admit it or not, because I've had people who I've confronted with stuff and they go, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, it's okay.
They might have genuinely forgot.
Yeah, you don't have to.
They might be lying about forgetting.
Yeah,
whatever.
Right. You don't have to. Because that's the power. That's the strength you get to. Because I was like, I'm good. Like, I've grown. I'm powerful. You know what I mean? And when you get to that, it's just like, that's a higher level. Now, is there things that you're going to always have an issue with? Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's where you get to decide, how is it that I'm going to go about interacting with this motherfucker from now on, if not at all.
Yeah, I'm going through that right now.
Yeah. If not at all. What if it's fuck this person? I'm cool. You know? But you have to address all of those things if it's something that you just can't get off your heart.
Yeah. And definitely seek count. Oh, he said, tell my wife that. Okay, well, you have to tell her. Can you elaborate a little bit? Bodies by Christ. You know, it's one of those things where it's like a lot of times when you're saying to yourself, okay, you know, this issue that I'm dealing with, I've been dealing with this. You know, how do I overcome this? You know, when is this not going to be an issue when I keep thinking about this person, or I'm looking at this person, or I'm dealing with this person, or every time you know what? A lot of times it's like, okay, it's your pride. And you have to ask yourself, are you prideful? And I think a lot of times people don't realize that they are prideful. They blame it on, I'm a Taurus. You know, we stubborn. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Taurus. We stubborn.
You know, when I drink dark, I act this way. And when I drink clear, I act this way.
Right. You know what I mean? And it's like, listen, there's a point where I think Antonio said it best. You have to desire. I desire peace. Yeah. And that's, you know,
you got to know what that means when you say it.
Well, can I elaborate for them so they can get an idea of what that is? Because some people don't know what peace is.
There is nothing in this life that you can say that you want and put no action behind it. Do you actually desire it? Do you actually require that in your life? You know, I got tons of young people that I mentor, and one of the most common conversations I have, well, you know, I really I want a job. I've been trying to get a job.
Oh, that's that word.
I said, well, what did you do? And they're standing there texting or Instagramming, whatever the fuck these kids be doing.
Talking to you at the same time.
They standing there doing this. I said, well, did you know, there's these job sites, there's XYZ. Did you Google it? Did you see what job openers in the area, anything? Well, no, you know, I don't have an ID or I don't have a car. It's like, well, but did you go and see what jobs there are out there? Well, nobody told me You got the world in your fucking hands, man. Yeah. What did you do to gain that what you desire?
He's talking about
you got to mean it.
The step to peace.
Just saying it don't mean shit. You have to mean it, and that also means that at any cost. That means if I can't settle this with the other person, then that means I got to settle it with myself.
Right.
That's why I said, why not just start there to begin with?
Right, with self, yes.
Why not just start there to begin with?
Because it's your peace. You know,
that nigga ain't gonna show up with a little, you know what I'm saying, with a lunchbox of peace. Here you go. I thought about you. I know that happened years ago.
A dove.
Here you go. Here's some peace. That's never happened. It never will happen. It's 100% on you to establish that. Yeah. You know, so when you say that peace or happiness, whatever it is, this is something that I desire.
Mm-hmm.
I desire.
The righteous way of looking out for yourself.
That's I. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I is not nobody else. Mm-hmm. I is you. Mm-hmm. I is me.
Singular. Mm.
I got to do something about that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Whatever that is, you figure that out for yourself. But when you say that you desire it, you got to do the work. Mm-hmm. Nobody else can.
And that's the step to me for growth, because I think, Bodies by Christ said, that's this culture now. Everyone's entitled. You're right. And they feel like it should be handed to them. But work is always such as the thing of it's personal, and you have to work in order to grow, and growing is what you gain by putting the work in. You grow, and can you say I in a marriage? No, you can't.
Sure, you can.
There's two parts of a marriage, equally yoked, but when it all comes together, okay. So there's two separate parts that come together and cleave into each other, make one. Okay. But what happens is, and the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is because I'll use Maori. I'll use her as an example. You know, when she had her interview recently, I, me, me, I, me, I, mine. And it's like, what? Was you even married? You was going through that this whole time, and now all of a sudden I have to be my authentic self, and my happiness and this and that. Well, in the almost 12 years that you was with this man, you mean to tell me you was never happy? How did you lay down, spread your legs, and let this man inseminate you several times? I don't get it. I don't understand. So I agree with Antonio on one aspect, that yes, you can say I in a marriage.
When you say I, that means that there's work for you to do.
Yes. In order
for the marriage to be whole.
Yes. Yeah.
Or relationship.
No.
It doesn't have to be marriage, right. But your relationship.
Well, this person asked specifically for yeah, bro. Hey man, listen, bro. Take it to the Lord, but also get you some counseling if possible, because sometimes people wake up and expect people just to say, okay, this is the day that they're going to forgive me. Mm-hmm. This is the day that they're going to finally think about us instead of me or I. That's just not how it works. If you're married to someone who's selfish, and because that's pretty much what it is. It's a selfishness, entitlement, sense of entitlement. And they feel like the marriage is there to give them what they need, then they're already in trouble. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if it's too late for that, then you already know the steps.
If they're searching for the marriage to bring them peace, it's already too late. You should be entering a relationship with your own peace. No, again.
That's why people end up having kids and stuff and making,
because they're looking for.
So when we're talking about, well, listen, a narcissistic person would also be the person who would not forgive. A narcissistic person would also be the person that feels like they did nothing wrong and can't receive forgiveness. A narcissistic person will also be the person to hold a grudge because they feel like they're justified in holding a grudge, rather than realizing, why am I holding a grudge? Most of us want to be right. Most of us want to be right. I love when I'm wrong because it reminds me that I don't know everything.
You're human.
That I'm human.
I got more to learn.
A lot more to learn in the short time that we're here on this planet. We work towards the objective of being perfect beings, but we never meet it. Die before you get there. Something that I learned in the martial arts. When you're talking about moving past this thing, that resentment and bitterness, sometimes that is a learned behavior as well.
You get that from your family more than likely.
Yes, how we deal with situations, disagreements.
From your family or lack thereof.
Yes.
Which is also a lack of understanding.
Yes.
A lack of social maturity, a lack of, what is it called? Emotional depth.
Yes.
You lose that when you have an estranged relationship with friends or family, when you have an estranged relationship with whoever it is that you're close with, you know.
Do you think black people, the community, because, you know, we always want to talk about our community, do you think that we have a issue with forgiving too easily?
We forgive everyone but one another. So do we forgive the world and what it's done to us, what it's currently doing to us? Do we turn a blind eye to it? Absolutely. We don't even think about what the world is doing to us. We're so focused on, because we're so focused on all the damage that we're doing to ourselves at this point. You know, and we also feel like there's not much that we can do to the rest of the world. And this is a human behavior. You control that which you can easily dominate. And for all humans, you can most easily dominate those who are closest to you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's why our fights are so much more explosive, more emotional, more, you know, we lash out even more because, you know, that connection.
Because we'll see each other at Thanksgiving, whatever, no big deal. We'll see each other at so-and-so's birthday party, no big deal, you know. Unfortunately, I believe that our community is most guilty of that. You know, not that it doesn't happen in other communities, man. You know, people, family, friends. You know, we're always going to tend to be our worst selves around those that are closest to us because we feel like there's no way we're going to lose them.
Yeah.
Emotionally.
We blood. You know how that's supposed to be. You forgive and forget.
You think you get to be your worst self with these people.
Yeah, no.
You get to be who you truly are, but we all have a threshold. And it's important. I think it's most important to acknowledge that when it comes to the people who are closest to you, the people who may never leave you. Why would you abuse them? A majority of us do have abusive relationships with our family and our friends.
Yeah.
You know, that's a sickness of sorts. I don't even want to call it a behavior. It's poisonous.
It is. Whether it came from slavery or it's a thing of we don't communicate well because
we can most easily dominate one another. You know, when all that has been done to us, at least we'll stick to American history. Just throughout American history, all that has been done to black people. You know, how many times have we watched our people be lifted, you know, a shovel put up under us and turned over in the dirt?
Yeah.
You know, Black Wall Street and things like Rodney King, like you brought up last week, the riots, you know, the police brutality and all of these different things. Anything that we try to do somehow is systematically destroyed. No recompense for us. No sort of reparation. You know, not at the local level, not at the state level, not at the federal level. So when that is your reality and you see that in television, it becomes a subconscious anchor that we don't let go of. So if that's the reality, there's nothing I can do to the rest of the world. Take this out. Take it out on who's right here.
Right. Burn these gas stations. Burn these liquor stores.
I'm going to take it out on everything that's right here. And unfortunately, 90% of what's right here is family and friends. That's who I can get my hands on. And then I'll see them tomorrow. And because they feel the same bullshit that I've been feeling, they've dealt with the same bullshit that I've dealt with, they'll forgive me tomorrow. We can talk about it.
Right. Yeah, you shake hands and go back. Yeah.
You know, I go downtown and do this, I may not come back.
Right. Right.
Just saying.
Well, yeah.
I go downtown and do this, I may not come back. If I create something, if I find enough like-minded people and I create something like a Black Wall Street or do something great for my community, I may not come back. And not only is there a possibility of me not coming back, there's a possibility, an even higher possibility of all that I died for being destroyed. There are no real martyrs in the black community because nothing that anyone has done in our community has actually been sustained over the years. Not Martin Luther King, not Malcolm X, not Marcus Garvey, not Khalid Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
Don't man? I'm up on a soapbox, but that's the reality of it. What you asked, that's the reality of it.
All right. Lodged by Christ said, I think our community needs to focus more on building the black man and black boy up. We've spent far too many years, and our black boys are taking a beating. We need to motivate and build up our men in the community. I mean, we just got replaced in Black Panther, for God's sake. We're building the women up and focusing on them so much that it's hurting our little boys. And yeah, and even as men, I think it's not it's very easy. I see a lot of guys, that's where you get the red pill and the manosphere and all that stuff. It's an embitterment. And
there has to be an embitterment.
Well, yeah, but there's a point to where instead of just being embittered, it's just being enforced. And
you're saying the lack of motion behind that embitterment, right? There should be some sort of action, some sort of forward motion.
You teach these kids, and most of them are boys.
Yeah,
you teach them every week,
and not hopefully none of them see this, but the reality about them is a lot of them are very effeminate.
Mm-hmm.
I can see there. I have young men standing there like little girls.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna have to excuse me if this is something that you don't like, but when I grew up, nigga, my dad would have put me in the fucking dirt standing there like one of my little sisters.
Right.
And yeah, some that's not for women to understand.
Well, even
you don't grow up with the existence that a young man grows up with.
Right. Of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Now I have the ability as an adult male to stand up and uplift a woman and not falter. My knees don't shake. Nothing. If that's what I choose to do. I was given that by a few men, but I'll put the focal point on my father, and he's my stepfather. And he taught me how to stand up and be that for the women around me. Whether that be in an intimate capacity or just in a social capacity. I needed, and I didn't know it then. I hated it. I hated my grandfather. I'm gonna share this story because I love this story. It means a lot to me. I don't even remember how we got on this subject, but let's run it. But my grandfather, I love that dude. Him and my dad were traveling somewhere. They had to go pick a car up and tow it back to where we were because they're mechanics. So they're going to pick up this car, and I'm like, shit, nigga, that's where the men are going?
I'm going.
Well, I'm going. I'm 11 years old. So we strike out to where we went to go get it. And while we're out there, we go to a spot. And, rest in peace to this spot because it's gone now. But Quick Ways was a staple in East Oakland. You know what I'm saying? Quick Ways was everything. So we stop at Quick Ways. So I'm with the guys, man. I'm having such a great time. And I'm in the back seat of this fucking truck. I'm just talking. Talking like it's 9:30, 10 o'clock, 11 at night, some shit. And I'm just talking like a motherfucker. They up in the front eating, and I'm talking. I'm having a good time. I'm with the guys, man. I'm with my dad. I'm with my grandpa. What the fuck you talking for? Nigga, you got chicken. He said, nigga, you got chicken. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna forever sit with that because when I was a kid and I was like, you know what I'm saying?
My feelings.
My feelings is hurt and all this kind of shit. And then as I'm growing up and I'm seeing what the world is and I'm experiencing what's happening to young men, the men who are sitting next to me in these environments and we getting shitted on by society, by women, by the system. And these niggas are actually crumbling. I had chicken, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I knew what it meant to sit there and say, okay, well, what I got right here, what can I do next? I got that from niggas who were hard on me, men who were hard on me growing up, teaching me what it is to actually stand up and not crumble. We're losing that in our community for many reasons. Whatever it is that our women can't let go of, whatever it is that our men can't let go of and forgive one another, It's all a culmination of that.
I think I can speak as a single parent child who's a man now. I think for a lot of young black men in particular that didn't have a dad,
A father figure, positive male figure of any sort.
Well, listen, when you look at the circumstances on how young black men, and unfortunately even today, are raised by hip hop. They learn how to dress, they learn how to walk, they learn how to talk, they learn how to interact with women,
they learn how to interact with one another
by hip hop. And in the 90s, it was all about the Tupac movement. I ain't got a dad. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I ain't have a dad. Fuck my dad. And all of that was a resentment towards not being raised by a father. It greatly impacted the black community.
Going to school and having those events and seeing everybody else's whole family being there.
Yeah.
And my family ain't here because I don't have one.
Well, we had that explosion of single motherhood, and we still have that. That's something that a lot of times people don't realize it affects the black community tremendously. And so there is a resentment and lack of forgiveness in regards to the community by a lot of young black men. So they're able, because, it was so funny we're talking about this. I on Facebook, and I remember this episode, but there was an old episode of Good Times where they had this guy that shot JJ, and Florida Evans and James Evans. James Evans had to go to court to identify the guy, and the guy goes in, the one that shot JJ, and he's like, "Your Honor, throw the book at me. Whatever you gonna do, do it." Blah 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 blah. And the kid's mom shows up, and he goes, "I ain't had no dad. Boy, screw my dad." It was this anger towards his dad not being there, whether he died. It never said he ran off or he died or whatever.
It was, he just wasn't there.
He wasn't there. And so that anger and that resentment towards his dad became a thing that made him incorrigible and rotten to the community, to where he shot JJ, because he had that anger. And it's funny that we're talking about that, because that's another thing of the forgiveness and holding a grudge and being angry. And I saw that in the 90s, and I was like, where are we going to go with this if all these young black boys that don't have dads are angry? Where does that anger get placed? Because it's not like we all look out for mentors and everything. I know too many people that look out for mentors, but to say where is that anger? It goes against society. It goes against the black community. It goes against the women they date. You know what I mean? That's where that anger gets placed, because there's no other outlet for it. You know what I mean? And so when you look at that, what Bodies by Christ said, we need more people to stand up and to do that. We need it. It's such a thing. That has to happen. He said, one of my jobs as a father is to make sure my son has the least amount of excuses in his life. Well, listen.
My dad.
You had chicken. You got you got chicken.
What the fuck are you talking for right now, nigga? You worked. You got what you needed. Shut the fuck up sometimes, man. Sit back, reflect, think. Look at what we just did. That's more than enough right now. More than enough right now, and it's important that we understand how we got to where we are right now. Whatever that moment is for a young man. Let me sit and think about this. But my grandfather and my dad, they both been to prison, both been to the pen, and unfortunately that's where they developed that skill. To sit down and say, damn, okay, well, hard day's work. From my dad's perspective, nigga, I picked up this job. Your grandfather is the same skill set as me. We're gonna go and do this shit. We'll give you a little bit of the trade. That's why you're here. We made the money. We're gonna eat before we get back on this road and drive 2 hours. You got somewhere to sleep once we get to where we going and we finish this job. And, a lot of us don't know how to sit back and assess all of what of what it is that we're doing. That's a very important skill for a young man, and I think that lack of the reality of that lack of understanding is something that we sit with and are upset with, watching other men create and having to go, how the fuck? How? Why can't I figure that out? And then maybe the only person they have to go to is a mother.
Right. Who can't tell them how to.
Can't tell them. Or they might have a single father who he's still trying to figure it out because maybe that's how he also grew up.
Right. He wasn't taught it.
You know, our great grandmothers in this day and age are barely in their 40s and 50s.
Right. Yeah. Right. Right.
You know, so the fathers are just as young as the mothers, man. You know, and there's a lot of begrudging energy in the black community for a lot of those reasons, man. And to that, I want to say this. I was thinking about this as we're talking. You know, the way that we overpopulate right now without a plan. You know, I understand the black woman that didn't had 4 or 5 kids or 2, 3 kids and ended up by herself and is upset, is angry, you know, with a black man for whatever reason he left, whether that be because they disagreed or maybe he really was a piece of shit or maybe he was terrified and didn't know how to be a father, didn't know how to approach figuring that out. Whatever the reason is, you know, the way that started was during slavery. They were killing the men just to let the women and the children know we control all of this shit.
Right.
So the man and the woman would make as many kids as they could before he leaves because they felt like that gave us a fighting chance. And then post-slavery, we're free. Our family structure is still kind of there. We're rebuilding, figuring out what's going to work for us. And we're still creating as many kids as we can because we need a fucking fighting chance. Not just for our household, but for the black community as a whole. This was a plan that was conceived by us just to survive here. And at some point we lost sight of that, which I believe was during they were internment camps is what they were. The whole sharecropping era was really internment camps. And our people had many reasons to hate each other based on what they were being shown by the government. This is before it was even called welfare. Oh, we'll make sure y'all got seeds to plant. We'll make sure y'all got cattle and all of that, but this nigga can't be here. Right. The man can't be here.
Right.
That was where that started, and this is 1800s.
Right, which began the migration to
long before the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, 50s, and 60s. All of that to say this, it's not new. The hate is not new. The grudge is not new. The resentment is not new. But you got to know your history to do something about it. You got to know why you feel this way. You got to know why there's so many things in the media that say that we're this way and identify what it is that we're feeling towards one another. You know, sit down. This is just for anybody listening, you know. Because now we're talking about the grudge that we all have with one another within the black community. Go and figure out your history. Look up the Moynihan Report. And once you find the Moynihan Report on Google, you'll see that there are many other reports from the late 1800s, the 1910s, the 1920s, the 1930s, 1940s.
On and on and on.
And on and on. Every 10 years they were doing reports on us. How is what we're doing to them working out? And they masked it as their concern for us. But really, they were just documenting,
of course,
how well it was playing out.
They're playing.
And we're still blaming each other. which was a part of that plan.
Yeah.
You know, I can go into specific details. I know to some of y'all it might sound like I'm being a conspiracy theorist, but the information is out there. I didn't have to make it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have no reason to make this up. The Moynihan Report is is a great place to start. And I don't know how to spell that nigga's name. But Moynahan or some shit like that. We've talked about it on the show before. You know, go look that up. Start there. But you got to educate yourself. You got to educate your children, because this pattern that was created purely out of our resentment for one another, our hate for one another, the grudges that we hold with one another, not being able to forgive one another. You know, we have, you know, and Kevin Samuels talked about this. You have grandchildren that don't forgive their grandfathers and great grandfathers because of what they're hearing their mothers talk about. Yeah. About who these men were. Yeah. Supposedly. Allegedly, whatever it was. You don't know what the fuck your grandparents were doing. That's not your business. You're a child. Go and ask your parents why it is that they didn't X, Y, Z. Where can I go to understand this better? Where can I go to build and become what it is that I need to be? How can you help me? That's what we're supposed to do. As whether if you're a parent, whatever it is. That's what we're supposed to be doing with each other, is understanding the fucking situation that we're in, so that we can do something about it. I'm off my soapbox. I got to take a piss because I've been drinking water all day. But, you know, I'll leave y'all with that momentarily.
We hate to see him leave. But he's right in regards to the resentment and the grudges and the lack of forgiveness, because and then, but it's also, you know, there's two sides, if not sometimes three sides to every story. And you can't take one side without having a full understanding of all the pieces that were involved in that puzzle. You know, to back up and to talk more about forgiveness in regards to relationships. One of the things that I've learned is that when people get in relationships, they get in for different reasons. Very few people get in to build. Most people get in to supply a need that they have, whether it's, I want my life to be like that of Facebook or Instagram. I want to be happy like I see in the movies, which actually hasn't been happening a lot lately. If you watch a lot of movies lately, you'll see that, you know, the happy ending doesn't even exist. There's such a strong nihilistic sense of purpose in films. But a lot of times when you build this resentment for getting in a relationship, whether it's, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, or marriage, a lot of the resentment comes from not receiving what you feel you should receive in the relationship. But if you back up and you realize that you got in the relationship for the wrong reasons, it will probably give you an idea of where to go from where you're at. So in essence, what I'm saying is this. If you get in a relationship because you feel like it's the right thing to do, well, it's already destined to destroy itself. If you get in a relationship because you feel like you have needs that need to be met, well, I can tell you right off the bat, it's already going to destroy itself. In anything that you do, you want to build. You want to build in all relationships, whether it's friendship, family, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. You want to build. You're looking at saying, okay, what is it that I want to gain in life? And who do I want to be alongside with as I'm gaining these things? That's what building is all about, because then we all add to different things as we walk along in this thing called life. And so when you're saying to yourself, okay, you know, I have resentment or I have a grudge against this person because this happened, you have to judge yourself and the other person on whether or not the relationship is necessary. Because if it's not necessary, then you're putting a lot of energy into something that really isn't going to have a great outcome. Building, to me, is something that I've put as the forefront of how I see things. Because it's not a thing of what I need or what that person can give me, rather than how we can meet and build together. And that's such a much more enriching way of looking at life, because it diminishes the anger you have from the unmet expectation. And if you caught our show, we talked about depression. that's some of the things that we talked about. Unmet expectations breed depression. It breeds depression. And so that's something that also comes around because of lack of forgiveness and resentment and holding grudges. Those are things that also come into your life because you can't let go. You know? What's going on your side of the world?
I have nothing. Nothing new.
Yeah. So with this holiday season approaching, you have Thanksgiving. Like some people, I've met people, they say, I just got to get through the holidays. That's what they say when they're dealing with their family and these events and stuff.
That's because they're in. Let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with a human being is not something that you should have to do.
Yeah.
Humans don't deal with one another.
Yeah.
We interact with or embrace one another.
Yes.
When you have to deal with a human being, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So if you're dealing with these people,
hey,
your family, your friends, whatever it is,
mm-hmm.
you have something to assess.
Mm-hmm.
You got some questions to ask. You got new habits to establish. Because clearly, this is not what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You don't actually want to do it. You feel obligated to interact with them during the holiday season and do whatever it is that you think that you have to do, when in reality you don't.
So do you think that people should make it a plan in regards to saying, okay, well, I know that Thanksgiving's coming up, or we got a family reunion coming up, right? Because I always looked at family reunions as something as, oh, you get to see family members you never met. Like you could care less like about, I'm pretty cool with all of my family in the sense of I not deal with them, but because we're talking about that. But I see them and I reconnect, and it's a great time, and it's, because I don't go too deep, you know what I mean? And I don't have anything that I have grudge-wise or lack of forgiveness-wise. I've done that work, so, but I do know that I still say this is how far that,
Yeah. You distance yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Not even distance yourself, but keep them at a certain distance, within arm's reach.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
But I'm kind of like that with most people. And I think, because I'm always saying that you have to treat all relationships the same. When you went to the bathroom, I was talking about relationships in the sense of building. Mm-hmm. If you approach, why is this person in my life? We are building, not, oh, well, this is just somebody help me to pass the time. You know what I mean? Somebody here to help me pass the time. No, we're building. We're building our friendship. We're building together. We're finding aspects on how we can create things to move in another level, to move with relevance and with power. That to me is what building is all about. And I think that can be with anyone, because even with family members, if you're saying, okay, we're building, not just, oh, we're getting together and we're going to go to movies and blah, 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 blah. I have plenty of friends to do that with if I want to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm with you, it's to build. It's to reconnect with you. It's to say, okay, how can I bring you into my life with what I got going on? If it's going to take up too much time, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of that. So it's hard for people if there's a grudge or if there's a lack of forgiveness because of something that's going on. You have to address that. You have to address it. And I think don't wait until a week before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
or Christmas.
Then everybody show up and everybody got an attitude with one another.
Yeah, because it does take time for those feelings to dissipate. And if the person is a reasonable person, it will take time for them to go, you know what? They weren't wrong in their assumption or they weren't wrong in what they said. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize. So do you think it's a plan of action that like our listeners are paying attention to? If you have a grudge against someone, lack of forgiveness, like obviously it's 2 days before Thanksgiving, so that may not be wise, right?
I don't think there's necessarily a plan of action,
mm-hmm.
so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you decide what amount of peace, what amount of work you're going to put behind obtaining the peace that it is that you desire.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have to assess, how is it that I'm approaching the maintenance of my peace?
Mm-hmm.
you know, am I actually doing anything about that? I fell out with Auntie last Christmas. Am I gonna wait all the way until next Christmas season to show up and still have the same shit on my heart? She might not even remember. Maybe she's just an asshole. An asshole could just be who she is. So whatever that moment was that y'all had, she might genuinely not remember it.
Yeah, I think a lot
Why
of times.
Would you wait?
Well, that's a very valid statement because, you know, I can say this, man. When my brother passed, it was very odd to see. You know, he meant a lot of things to different people.
Yeah.
And I've always been one of speak to that person and let them know the last thing that you feel about them is love in some capacity. You know, whether you say I love you, whether you show through some deed or word or whatever, let them know that, yo, you know, we had a disagreement, but it's not that serious. Because what happens is when you lose people, different things happen to different people. I've seen people go into literal catatonic states of depression because they felt like there were things. And I've said this to some of my friends, one of my lady friends, she was like, my dad, he's this and he's that. And I'm like, well, you need to talk to your dad.
I agree.
You need to talk to him. And her dad ended up dying before she talked to him. And she went into this real dark place because
she never got it off her heart.
She never got it off her heart. There was things she needed to say. She needed to say it. And I said, you know, trust your instinct. Go ahead and do it. Just talk to him. It sometimes it's more painful to talk to that person than the pain you're experiencing by holding a grudge of the past thing that happened. Right? It's so much more painful to not say what you need to say. And I always say, just say it, put it out there, and leave it alone. And whatever happens, you deal with that as it's coming. Because, you know, there's different ways of talking to different people. And you know that person. You know, if you know how that person is going to react, like if you know that they're the type where they want to get loud and abusive when you're in their house, don't meet with them at the house. You know?
I was just telling Eric that about a situation he was dealing with some family members. I said, man, take that nigga out to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because some people will act right in a public environment.
Yeah.
Or some people will act stupid in a public environment. Then you know, okay, I won't take them here. I'll take them there.
They might even feel not bribed, but you know, in a roundabout way, you could be subconsciously bribing them. Hey man, I know this nigga likes Subway. I'm gonna take him to Subway and talk about it.
You know, they teach that in self-defense when you're in a club and you got guys who are like, you know, hey, let me buy you a drink.
I was just about to say, look, nigga, let me get you a drink. Nigga, what you drinking?
Yeah, but that
tonight?
goes back to that pride thing because some people feel like, I ain't got to do all of that, you know what I'm saying, just to let them know about themselves, you know. And it's like, no, you know, again.
It's more compromise with self.
Yeah.
If it is so important to you that this relationship with this person is not severed, you know, same as saying that you want peace. You got to do something to get peace.
Yeah, got to put the work in. I agree.
So
100%.
if you want to keep that person in your life and you've already identified whatever it is that makes them an asshole or makes them, incorrigible, whatever it is that makes them a difficult human to be around, you've already identified it. That means there's something that you can do about that. If I know that this motherfucker's loud at the movies, I'm just not gonna go to the movies with him.
Right. And I think especially when it comes to family, love is a great motivating factor on working towards peace.
Yeah.
You know, if you say that you really, really love your family, and I'm not even gonna throw in thick and thin because some people throw that around and it's trash. Because there's no such thing as unconditional love. Love is a conditional thing. If you really say you love your family, then that movement to connect the bond and to move towards a place of forgiveness and a place of allowing yourself to no longer hold on to the bitterness or the grudges or, you know, to finally let go of all of these things that you felt you needed to hold on to because it makes you powerful. That love will be a strong defining factor because I got to a point, look, I love my brother, my older brother, man, you know, but I know that he and I are different people. And I I don't hold it against him that he's different and I'm different. So I deal with it as it is, and that's as far as it goes. It doesn't go any further than that. And I don't feel bad. Like I think that's what most people get themselves in trouble with, because they feel like, oh, I feel bad. It's like, yeah, but that's part of life. Nobody feels good all the time. You are going to feel bad.
You're supposed to have ups and downs. You're supposed to have what Patrice O'Neal calls it. You know, you're not gonna have swag 100% of the time. You're gonna have a day where, maybe you call everybody nigga, and that one day, the way that you say nigga is gonna be a little bit off, and that person's gonna bite back. It's not your job to fight that. It's your job to roll with it, adapt to it, accept it. This is, I'm just a little bit off today. Let me compromise and continue on, because guess what comes after tomorrow?
The next day.
Another tomorrow, nigga. Another tomorrow.
That's what Solomon said.
Plain and simple.
A time to live, a time to die, a time to smile, a time to cry. Through every season, there are those seasons. And so as human beings, emotions comes with who we are, and learning to quote unquote master, because you really can't master anything. You'll die before you become a true master. Correct. But the journey is so great once you open yourself up to it, to get to that space of working towards ever mastery and mastering, quote unquote, mastering your emotions, mastering your thoughts, and getting to that space of saying, okay, I want peace. True peace. True peace. It's a journey, man. It's work.
It is.
But it's definitely something you can get close to attaining, if not attaining it.
Well, in the last minute, as we always do, I have to reiterate the compromise for finding peace within, finding happiness within. Like it or not, you can disagree with us. We can go to hell and back. It starts within. No one else. You've never had a time in your life where someone else did your work for you, and you got all the credit. You got all the benefits. You reaped all the the fruits of that labor. You have to do the work. It's for you, so just make sure you take the time to acknowledge that. At least it starts with acknowledging it. That's all I got.
Yeah. Compromise is not with others, it's with yourself.
100% with yourself.
Yep. Yeah.
So, well, 2 days until Thanksgiving. Y'all niggas enjoy some of that food. You know what I'm saying? Get fat or don't. Do what I'm going to do, which is take my ass to the gym and do some music, train some kids, and that's about it.
Bless you 2 times. Wait a minute, brother. You just realized that the kids, are you still training them on Thursday?
Nah. So I had the flyer made and invited everybody. Nobody hit me up, so it is what it is. They'll be back next week.
Yeah.
But I'll be training at the very least. My nephew's actually coming down, so you gonna meet him.
Yeah, cool.
And we'll do some work over the weekend.
Got the sneezies.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to my nephew, man. When that nigga gets here, I'm gonna give him a hard time. He gonna go home hurting. But
a hard fun time.
Yeah, it's a hard fun time. When I say I'm gonna give him a hard time, I'm gonna show him love, just from man to man, and iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel. I'm gonna help him get to his best self. There is no better, just best. Help him add on to his best self. So. Anyway.
Don't forget, tomorrow we'll be here at 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific.
Yes.
Talking about who knows what. We're going to talk about some shit.
Joe Moten said, bless you, Antonio.
Thank you.
Threw a big heart your way.
Thank you very much.
He said when he met you, he knew you was a cool, down-to-earth person and legit and genuine. But that's the power she has, man. Yeah. To light up a whole room. Force to reckon with. Guys, We'll be here tomorrow. So if you got any questions or anything, we're going to be talking pop culture and anything that's going on in the news and anything you guys want to discuss. Hopefully tonight has helped you in some capacity. She said, "Oh." We look forward to speaking with you guys tomorrow. I know some of you will be on the road, headed where you need to head to. Hopefully you can listen to us where you're at, on drive a flight safe. Or whatever. Yeah, drive safe, please.
And if you don't have the reception to watch us live, me and my cousin do have a project on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube, whatever other shit that they got out there. Our distributor or publisher, whatever it is, they sent it out everywhere. So, the dosage, Remo Chains, whatever it is, go and find it on some of those streaming platforms and listen to that if you don't have the reception for video.
No doubt.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Love you guys. Make sure you have a great night.
Y'all have a good night. Yes?
I think so.
Great.
Yeah, look at that. High five, baby.
Muscles on his lonely back. I stay calm. In fact, I've been on the grind so long, hoes could never call me that. Please keep it short. I don't speak for all the rap. I'm your mechanic. I don't want no parts of whack. Keep throwing darts and wax. I'ma melt you. Every beat got a birthday. I just make it special. If you came to wrestle, maybe we can do that. Chapman bring the doses and show you where your shoes snacks, at. Exactly where the proof at. Snacks, I know. Stats. I don't need the hookup. I've been staying blue-black. Straight from where the news at. Life-size showdown. Story I survived. Made them live remotes down. Painting what I wrote now. I imagine it. I'ma grow the canvas. Every stroke is passionate. Ask him why he smashing shit. I'm just practicing so I can get it in when it's out. Ain't no accident.